Montgomery County? The Lone Star Community Radio sponsorships accomplish this. Want to see our stats and rates? Check out irlonestar.com/sponsor for more information. Or call in and leave us a message at 936-647-3776 with your question. Get seen on TV or YouTube and heard on our podcast, FM, and internet radio. Sponsor your local radio station with Lone Star Community Radio.
Thank you for listening to Lone Star Community Radio. This program was broadcasted and recorded live from the LSCR studios in downtown Conroe, Texas. Lone Star Community Radio is supported by listeners like you. Donate and sponsor today. For more information on getting involved with Lone Star Community Radio, contact us at lscrstudios@gmail.com or visit us online at www.irlonestar.com.
Good afternoon, everybody, and thank you so much for joining us on the Cindy Cochran Show. It's live. I know you probably think, wait, you have the same outfit you had on yesterday. That's okay. That's okay. It's my uniform. I've decided I'm going to wear a uniform, so I don't have to go buy any clothes or anything like that. I hate doing that. So anyway, we're here, and I'm so glad that you're listening because we got a lot of stuff to talk about today. Thank you for being here, Richard, because, I couldn't do this without you. Oh, the look on his face. Can you see it? Are you up on there on the screen?
Yeah.
Yeah, I wish we could do side by side, like a split screen.
I don't want to.
So they could actually see the different faces you make. The 1,000 faces of Richard. Because he doesn't ever really know what I'm going to say. That's why he talks so much. If he keeps talking, he knows I can't talk. And then he doesn't have to deal with he doesn't think it's a smart thing to say. But Richard really does. I mean, he has his own show. It's an audience of one, though. And they're trying to bring that up to 2. Have y'all gotten to 2 yet?
No.
No, but you know what? You don't care, right?
No.
You IDC. You're an IDCer. Andrew, if you're listening, I was just begging Richard to call you and so you could be on the show because I wanted to. What we're going to talk about, I think you would have your own opinion, which you do about everything. But I thought you'd really like this. So. Anyway, okay, all right. Here's what I want to talk about.
Okay.
Did you hear?
Oh, here we go.
That the Olympics, the boxing thing, is going to allow 2 biological men to fight in the women's division of boxing. Now, I find that really unfair. They had it where they couldn't, and then they changed the rules this year on the international level. I think nationally, whenever they do it, they can't do that. You have to be biologically the gender that you're supposed to be whenever you participate, which makes sense. I don't know why they don't let these 2 guys fight each other. Just why don't they get in the ring and fight and not put a girl in there? Because I saw a clip of one of these guys fighting, boxing with a girl, and he hits her right in the nose. Now, the reach of a guy is always going to be longer than a girl's reach. I mean, and here's my qualifying expertise on this. I have been grocery shopping for 53 years, and I have never asked a woman to reach up and get something for me. It's always wait for a guy to walk down the aisle so I can ask him to do it. So I know it's got to be scientifically true and also that a guy has 162% stronger punch than a girl has. They've measured that out, and that's what That's what they found. And I believe it. So what do you have to say to that, Richard?
You're probably wrong.
Okay. I was just wondering if it was what I thought it was going to be and expected it to be. I'm not wrong. This comes straight out of the science of measuring boxing punches and a man's
Well, what's
reach.
weird about it, I'm reading what you're talking about, and they don't say specifically they're trans. They don't say specifically they had operations or anything like that.
See, that makes it even worse.
So what they're saying is they do a DNA test, and when they were disqualified, because they found some Y chromosomes. I think it's Y.
Right.
And that's the test they used, and then the test that the Olympics use is different.
XY is the male.
Yeah, but what's weird though, it says it had some Y chromosomes, so it doesn't mean it's like a definite man.
I know, but a lot of men.
So that's just really weird to me. I'm like, well, how good are these DNA tests if it's like, oh, it's there's some of it, because it's either like, hey, it's a guy or a girl when it does the DNA, right?
Right.
So clearly something was going on with these tests. So it doesn't necessarily, they're not saying, oh, he's a man. They're not saying that.
Well, but
So they're not trans. They're not claiming to be trans. They've always fought. They were saying they've always fought in the women's competition. Never. But then again, I don't really know. And I mean, that kind of stuff is funny to me because if you tell me the DNA test isn't 100%, then I don't know what you want to do about that.
well, I wonder what. Did the women know they were going to be allowed in? Did they change the rule? They're going to be
No, I
allow them
I don't
in?
think they didn't change any rule. They just, the Olympics have different rules than the international boxing community or whatever.
Well,
So there's just different rules.
on the news they said last year they wouldn't allow this, but this year they were allowing it. And see, that just does not make sense at all. I mean, if they haven't had any kind of operation, which, so what? That still doesn't mean they have a period every month. And to me, that's what qualifies. If they have to go through that every month. And
But see, you're not in charge of it, so I don't really know. Because you also have to think these athletes are doing so much stuff to their body. Like, isn't that a thing with women? If they're doing certain type of chemical stuff, it's like they won't have a period for.
it's not it's if they're runners and things like
wasn't
that.
that always kind of like the not superstition, but like the dark parts of gymnastics?
Because it stopped their period.
It stunts their growth and stuff like that. So I mean, again, like, what does it matter?
Well, I mean, in the long run, it probably would, but I think that it's.
But yeah, like, I don't know where you're getting that. They don't even claim they're trans. They never claimed, like, these two boxers never claimed it.
Did I ever say they were trans? I never said that.
Yeah, I thought you opened up the thing there. They're allowing two men to box.
Right. They're
They never,
I said
they
biologically
never claimed.
male.
They never claimed to be a male.
I said they are allowing two
But they're not saying
males.
that they're not saying they're males. They're saying there's some Y chromosomes, not all. So like that's what I'm saying. Like it is an XY chromosome that's a male, but they're not saying it's a male. They're like there's some presence of Y. So that could be a hormone thing, or that could be. Is that making sense to you?
Yes, because there's a lot of effeminate men that are not.
Yeah,
that are
they're not
gay.
saying this guy's 100% a guy. They're not saying that. They never said that.
But that doesn't mean that he has enough of the male. Whatever the male.
No, they're not saying enough. It's like it came up. So because women have two X's and men are XY.
Right.
Right? Like that's like the whole 100% XY or XX. So what they're saying is there's some Y in it. It's not 100% XY. There's just some Y.
So maybe they have effeminate ways.
Maybe they've been doing steroids. Some type of, I don't know.
But here's the deal. It does not do anything to keep them from having the reach they have as a male.
Well, they're not. But that's what I'm
And the
saying. You
power.
keep saying that they're male. They're not male. You keep saying that, and that's not what it is.
But what about all the attributes that males have? They have. And part of that is the strength, the reach, and all that in a sport like that. And that's not fair. That's not fair. Don't you think? Hello.
Well, I mean, that's not what's happening.
What's happening?
Are you saying in generic things? Would that be fair? I mean, if you're getting paid, you're taking money. Who cares?
No, okay, you had a daughter that's worked 8 years on her boxing skills.
Yeah, and then they're like, "Hey, you're gonna fight a dude." I'm like, "Man, it's gonna be hard."
No, you make her fight guys, so it makes her a better fighter, she's quicker, because guys are quicker at their punch and all that stuff. So you have her train with somebody. That's how I did racquetball. I always played guys because they were much faster and all that, and that's the way it built my talent up.
I don't know what to tell you.
See, I worked that in. That was good. Okay. No, but it's true that all the things that the male has that is, a further reach, more power in their punch and all that, they're bringing that with them, no matter what they think they are. If they want to identify as a rabbit, it doesn't matter. It's still, they have all those attributes that this woman who has only fought biological women is having to deal with. Let's see if he commented. See if Andrew commented. That's what I wanted to hear.
Well, I mean, I think it's kind of weird that they failed this test and then they're allowed back in after failing it. But then again, it's like,
I think they wanted to bring some more eyeballs to the sport. I think it's all it goes back to the money that they can charge for commercials. But some people may drop out because they're doing that. It makes a lot of people mad. But these guys that say they identify as a woman, then that's all we need. That's all we need to know. Okay, you can come in the bathroom, come in the showers. I think it's atrocious.
well, yeah, that's not what's going on here, though.
What?
That's not what's going on here. You watch too much Fox News.
I did what?
You watch too much Fox News.
Shut up.
Well, okay, here. I'm reading a little bit more about this story.
Okay.
So apparently in 2020, when they did the Tokyo Olympics, these two specific fighters, one was going up for gold and the other one won the bronze.
Well, of course.
And hours before the gold match, that specific woman failed. So they said no. And then the bronze winner was tested afterwards, and she was stripped of the bronze. So this is in the Olympics. So now they're back, and they apparently have passed the test.
Because they probably dumbed it down. Just like a lot of times.
Or not. Maybe they went and gotten some XY therapy, and they prayed the gay away.
And they got
And magically.
They had infusion.
I don't know.
done.
It's kind of funny, though, because it's one of those things where it's like, especially I imagine in competition, everyone kind of knows each other. And it's like, because you're trying to be the best of the best. So you kind of know the circle of who else is good.
Mm-hmm.
So I imagine the other boxers aren't happy about it because they failed these tests in the past. And it's like now they're good to go and there's no explanation. So it's
No, you know who's mad about it is the women.
the other boxers. That's what I'm saying. The other boxers.
Yeah. I thought you said the other men that tried to get in and couldn't get in.
No, I'm just saying the other. I mean, because it's also something that like you have to be fair to the athletes and explain what's going on. But then again, this could be a unique scenario where this is like everyone's unique in a way, right?
Sure.
So maybe they do have some Y chromosome. Maybe they do. Maybe that's just part of the genetics. Maybe their parents are their brother and sister. Like that's kind of messed up. But you never know. There's some problem with Appalachian.
That's
You never know.
boy, that's out there, Richard, to try and.
But then again, it's the Olympics,
okay.
so who cares?
Who cares? No. Well, I care for the women that have to fight them, and if they didn't find out until they got there, these guys were going to be allowed in to.
Well, I think they knew.
Right.
They already knew. That's probably why they're upset, because they already knew this was going to happen. Again, like that circle is probably not that big. You're probably talking like 30, 40 fighters.
Yeah.
who have been competing all their lives. So it's like, all right, we know who's going to represent each country.
They don't shower together, do they?
Why do you want to know that?
Because I think that's creepy.
That you want to know that? Yeah.
No, I mean, because I think it's creepy that they would allow that. It's horrible. I feel bad for the women. It's just not right. It's not fair. It's just stupid. It's not the common sense to it. I think we've lost common sense, and
I think it's great because these scenarios never have the right answer, just because the answer is always controlled by society. It's never like a rule or a law of like.
Are you saying that like society can never be wrong?
Well, yeah, of course, but I'm also saying like to me it's fun because like this is when it hits that peak. You're like, all right, let's see how this lands. Let's see what they do.
Mm-hmm.
We'll see what's going on.
Yeah.
But then again, the Olympics, I don't really get the excitement of the Olympics anymore. Mainly because it's sports that no one really likes. But then there's like some sports allow NBA basketball players, and other sports only allow like you have to be under the age of this, and you can't be a professional. But for basketball, though, we'll let anyone play basketball. But if you're like a wrestler, you can't be a UFC fighter. You have to be a wrestler that's non-professional.
Yeah.
And like same thing with boxing, you can't be a professional boxer, or certain rules, like how many professional fights you've had. So that's the only thing because to me, if you start doing those kind of things, like who cares? Like just whatever they say goes. If you want to watch it, watch it. If you don't want to watch it, don't watch it. Like,
you know what? You were right.
You understand what I mean? Like to me, it's already a mixed bag of who cares.
But
so,
did you hear what I said? I was right.
Well, you're worried about showering.
No, I said you were right. They are allowing breakdancing as a sport.
Oh yeah, again,
it's going to be in there.
Like if they're having breakdancing as a sport, you're like, hey, they're already kind of doing whatever they can. Like whatever. I like it.
See, they had all those athletes that found out that they weren't going to have air conditioning. There wasn't going to be air conditioning in the rooms and stuff.
Yeah, I like that. So again, go for it. I love it.
Crazy.
Like no, they call it like geothermal cooling.
What does that mean?
That's what it's called. And basically what it is, it's an air conditioning unit that regulates. It can't go below. Like I think it's whatever temperature is outside. It's always going to be 10 degrees cooler than that.
And that's it.
And that's basically it. And then at night it might go like it can't exceed 70 or 74 or something like that. Man. So I still think it's AC. I think it's still they're just calling it something different, and it's just regulated. It's like you can't just go into your room and go, I want it freezing. You can't do it. Like that's basically they're like, oh, we don't want to give you any control.
See, that's what.
But the reason I think they did that is because their electrical grid couldn't handle the influx of all those people coming into the town.
That's a good point.
And I bet they're
how
like,
how long have you been knowing that you're going to be doing the
yeah, but they're not going
Olympics?
to update that stuff. Why
You
do you
don't think
think
they're gonna go work on the grid?
Why do you think now when you get I'm curious, when you get your house,
Yeah.
do they try to sell you a thing where your AC and says like, hey, if you can save $10 if you let us regulate your temperature, like you don't get to control your temperature. You know they do that. They offer like a cheaper discount. If you have this machine that does it by itself,
yeah,
which I think
would
is great.
Never. Now that would be easy for me to say, no, not gonna.
See,
do
I would be like, yeah, but you're doing all the maintenance.
No, but I mean,
I'd be like,
I don't
yeah,
want
if you're in control of that, then you're doing all the maintenance for me. I'm not paying for that.
Man, we have a.
I think that's hilarious though. People do accidentally sign in on that because they're like, oh, I can save money. It's like, but now like you can't touch your own thermostat.
But you're going to be miserable because it's going to be so hot. Oh, we're going to put it at 78, and I think that's fine. All you have to. You should. What do you put your lowest temperature at?
70, 71.
70 or 71.
But like when I leave, I put it at like 76.
Oh, and it has to come cool down. Does that cost more when it?
I don't know. I just don't want it blowing cold air all day.
Yeah.
Because I don't know when I'm going to come home.
Yeah.
I'm a nomad when I leave.
But don't you want it to be
free? I can just be like, I don't have to go home.
That's true. I do.
Yeah.
I still do. It doesn't matter. I still have to go home. Eventually, I have to go home.
Yeah.
And
that's because you chose a life of people depending on you. I said no more for me. I was like, I'm gonna.
I'm glad they depend on me.
Yeah, it gives you a purpose.
They're getting a little worried that they're not going to be able to very much longer. But
well, that's why they need to put a leash on you. they
I ran
like when they got you that Apple Watch. I'm thinking like, oh, they're just tracking her. That's why you got that for her.
They know
And
everything. What I'm doing.
where's that Apple Watch right now? You're not wearing it because you knew.
No, it's all on my phone. If
I
I
know.
leave my phone at home.
Well, the scary part is when they can talk to you without you calling them.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Mother, come home now. No, but what I think is, this is so bad. Samuel is in the car with me, and he's always correcting me. It's like having Sam right there. So, in a sense, it's kind of nice, but he's always correcting me in the way I drive.
Yeah.
And so, the other day, he's telling me, like, oh, you have got to, whenever you come through that gate, you got to not come so close. And he's doing all that, and I look at him, and I go right through a red light. And he goes, you just ran that red light. Oh, I'm going to have to, you know what? I'm going to have to report this. I said, you're going to do what? He said, I have to report this to the family.
Yeah.
And tell them you're running red lights
Yeah,
now.
it's the family meeting. We always gather every year.
No, I always say, okay,
And
but
at
first
the
think about the
end of the meeting, we're always saying vote yay or nay if we have to kill them.
put them down.
Yeah.
They're going to have to
yay
be put
or
down.
nay. Well, no, it's funny you said you were talking about that. Is I saw this thing where this person 3D printed like a suicide pod, and I'm thinking like, are they trying to make it boast about it being 3D printed, or are they trying to boast that it's cheap to die? I was confused by it. It's like, oh, cool.
It's cheaper to die than to live because
Yeah, but everyone's always trying to find a way, like, what's the cheapest way to kill somebody?
to kill someone.
Yeah, because now they're like, because in this case, they're trying to do people who are willingly trying to commit suicide, so they
Yes.
want to make it peaceful and all this stuff. But like the article is all about it being 3D printed, and I was like, that's kind of like
What is 3D printed? I mean, is it?
it's plastic, like a little printer that prints plastic.
I know, but what is it printing?
The actual machine. It's like a 3D machine that prints plastic in layers,
Okay.
and it can print tools. It can print all these kind
Right.
of cool things. And every year, 3D printing gets a little bit more extreme because you can print actual things. And now they printed a suicide pod.
A suicide.
Pod, like a pod you get in and you shut the
Pod.
door and you hit the button and you're gassed.
Oh, okay. When you started saying that, I said, "What do they print out their mom and so they can keep their mom at home?
No.
Sitting in the chair, watching TV." That's what I always wanted to have at the Grand Theater. Would they mind if I put one of those little yellow tapes in front of one of the seats and be able to and put my ashes there? Would that be okay? And see what
No,
they'd
actually,
say.
the way it would work is someone needs to hold your ashes and trip, and just be like, "There she goes, there she is." But like, so I'm reading this article about this 3D printed suicide pod, and I'm like, I feel it's almost technology. Like everyone has a baseline of crazy, right? Everyone for as long as human beings have been around,
Right.
and technologies are almost amplifying and giving people an avenue to explore that crazy.
Well, do you ever have thoughts of wishing you knew what it was like to die
Yeah, go to sleep.
and go, if I don't wake up?
Like, where do you go when you sleep? You don't know where you go.
Sure you do.
You don't know. You might have a dream. Sometimes you don't. I mean, maybe you die for like 5 hours and then you somehow come back. I don't
You
know.
do have paralysis
I don't know.
different times.
Because I was also thinking about, because I knew you were always going to talk about the Olympics because of opening whatever. And I was thinking about, I'm thinking about what you said, and I go, why do we even care about an opening ceremony? Like, that's not even the Olympics.
No, it's not.
So-
That's what was so,
yeah.
upsetting. Why
really-
would you put something like that in?
Well, then again, it's
in
kind of like the
Olympics?
halftime show in the NFL. It's like, who really cares? But people do. For some reason, people really care about that. There's always a group of people who care about the halftime show.
Yeah, they don't watch the football
Like,
game
they
at
go
all.
on the Twitter and they're like, "Can you believe the halftime show? That was awesome. Can you believe this opening ceremony? That was awesome."
So a lot of people just watch their opening ceremony, and
And
that's
that's
it.
like, yeah.
Yeah.
And then they might watch like Simone Biles.
Well, they ruined it this year.
I think it was
Shame.
great. I think you should go for it. And what they should have done though, they should have put a disclaimer. And it's like, hey, take a lot of drugs before we start this, because let's go for it.
The following image
Let's
is
go
not
for it.
a representation of the Lord's Supper.
I think you should. I
It's-
know you got to confuse them. Like it may or may not, and people will be like, "What does that mean?"
But just remember that Steven Spielberg is directing this.
He didn't
Thank
direct
you.
it.
I know, but,
Yeah.
but he did all those ads that made people, everybody thought, this is going to be a Steven Spielberg.
Yeah, I believe it.
project.
Got you.
Not, it was very quick that I thought, Steven,
Yeah.
there's got to be one more Jaws in you or something like that. Let's just don't give up.
And then I read another article about the. Apparently, the Olympic Village has always been like a controversial thing, and you're talking about the AC and all this kind of stuff. And I was like, you're reading this deal, and then of course, all the rich people who are athletes aren't staying in the Olympic Village, so it's not their problem.
True.
And
It's not required, not
no,
mandated?
well, because they were giving you in the specific article, they were giving you examples of like the NBA basketball team. They stay in a hotel. They have their own food. They have their own thing, like travel, everything. And then the people who have no money stay in the village and they use the public transportation. And then they're like giving an example, like apparently.
Wait, they have to pay for it?
No.
Okay.
But it's all about you're an athlete, so you got to be comfortable. You have to,
Right.
And they were talking about one was a swimmer from, I think either it was China or somewhere in Asia, and she got frustrated with the transportation because it would take her like 45 minutes to get to the thing to train, and it screwed up her routine. So she just got the closest hotel right next to the training facility. She's like, I can't do that. Like I can't.
That is, well, I can imagine. I can see them getting a VRB.
Well, I mean that it gets better. So they're comparing all the countries, and apparently when everyone first got there, the AC was a problem, right? So of course USA was partnered with some AC company, and they have all these portable AC units for those guys. So you can imagine going in, it's like you're at camp, and you got this dorm room. And you're like, oh, cool. It's so neat to meet people from all over the world. And it's like, you have an AC unit? I don't have an AC unit. I'm like, why don't I have an AC unit? Does my country suck? And then like the food. Apparently the food was not enough protein or something. I didn't really get they started using kilograms. I'm like, I'm not worried about that. But then they started, certain countries were providing their own food. Like, we don't want this French food. Like, our athletes need better food.
Well,
So you got your neighbor who's got like the steak and potato, and then you're over here eating your salad that's been sitting out. I'm like, my country doesn't care about me.
so
With
sad.
the AC unit and like all the USA gymnastics got bed toppers because apparently the beds were too stiff. So they got these bed toppers. But I'm just thinking to myself, it's like you got that one country who. It's like you're one of 9 people from that country in the games.
Yeah,
And
but
it's no one cares about you.
But the gymnastics people, I mean, they can't get up from the bed and go like, "Oh, my back," From
Well, yeah, no, I get
laying in
it, but it's just funny. Like,
I don't care.
They
That still
find
hurts.
this out and like, oh, we got to fix this. We got to get bed toppers.
bed toppers.
And,
That's
and
really good.
Jeremiah down the dorm room has nothing. It has no AC unit, no bed topper, eating the free food, and he's just like, I'm not going to perform well now.
They're so sensitive to everything that they put in their body and how they have to train
I
so
guess,
long.
Probably, I wonder what the breakdancer needs to eat.
I would watch that. I would want to see.
Well,
how
that's
they
one
do
thing
that.
I'm always curious about the skateboarding, because skateboarding still is judged on that old school rules of like the lifestyle of a skateboarder. Because I know like in the Olympics, the skateboarding is so boring because they only do like one trick and that's it. That's all they're allowed.
That
They're
they're
allowed.
going up, turn around.
Yeah,
come-
it's like that's all they're allowed to do. You get one go. I'm like, that's not really expressive. It's not skateboarding.
yeah.
But the people who are skateboarding live that lifestyle outside of the Olympics, and so they don't care. They're probably eating cheeseburgers and doing whatever.
And see, I'm like surprised that they haven't built a model, and especially Steven Spielberg. Let's build a model of a downtown or neighborhood, and then put all these different places that they like to jump and they like to
No, they have that. But the way the
I thought
game is set up, like the rules, it's like, oh, we're doing street this, and they have 2 tries to go down the stairs and do a trick.
Is it part of the? Did they set this up?
Yeah, they have a whole skating area.
Okay.
But the way the games are set up, it's like individual sections of the.
Oh, okay.
They don't just go, hey, you have 5 minutes, do some stuff.
Mm-hmm. Cool.
Which I like that more because that allows them to work on their strengths. Like, oh, I'm not really good at doing staircases.
Be more interesting. Yeah. You're right. That's interesting. Well, I'm just wondering if Steven Spielberg is still happy that he put his name on it.
Of course he is. I don't think he cares. Have you not seen Dial of Destiny yet?
Oh no, is that bad?
It's terrible.
Oh no.
It had all these great actors in it, and I was like waiting for it to get fun. But like it was almost there. It was all like there's so many fun scenes, and then it's just like, but then the dialogue starts up, and you're like, oh.
What's the name of it again?
Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny.
I'm trying. I just watched a bunch of those. There was a marathon of Indiana
Jones. It's the newest one.
The very newest one. Is this one where he has they do the
de-aging
AI stuff on his face?
That looked pretty cool.
Yeah. I know. I think I saw that.
But yeah, like even the villain was good, but then it was just like they didn't stick to one theme. It was there was all these like portrayals, not portrayals, and it's like, oh, is this about her? Is this about him? Is this about this villain? Like, there's too much going on. Just focus on one thing.
Yeah. And she had to go ahead and show her age because he comes into her apartment or something. He comes over to her apartment. They're not married.
No, there was just certain scenes that were flashbacks that set up the villain, and he knew who who Indiana Jones was because he was a Nazi. So that's when he was de-aged, is during those scenes because they were showing flashbacks.
Okay, that would be. Now, see that I think that's is coming to an end because all the flashbacks that they're doing, taking up time in the film that's already been done. I wonder if it makes it cheaper. They have a lot. Of course, it'll make it cheaper, but how do they pay the actors? They pay the ones that were in it.
I imagine. Well, it's also it's a negotiation.
Yeah.
Like you sign on to do that kind of stuff.
But
it's not like these people are forced to be actors.
No.
So he could easily go, hey, what am I doing? Like, oh, in this scene, you're going to be de-aged. It's like, well, am I getting paid for that? And they're like, oh, no. I'm like, well, then I'm only going to be working X, Y,
Boy, that's true. That is so
And then again,
true.
he is Harrison Ford. He's like the star of the movie. So I bet they were going to like, we'll pay.
Yeah, but
then again, I feel like when you're an actor and you get to that age, like, you just want flat rate money. You don't really care about the long game. Mm-hmm. Like, because we were talking about Robert Downey Jr. being announced as Dr. Doom in the new Marvel Phase movies.
Yeah.
And he's getting paid like $80 million or something like that.
What?
And I think it was 80. It might have been 40. But he's getting something per movie. He's doing 2 movies. And people are complaining about it because no one else gets paid because he's getting all the money for the productions and stuff.
They talked about Iron Man and Deadpool, but when did he come on?
Yeah, he's not Iron Man. He's going to be Dr. Doom. I don't know what they're doing, but it's just funny to me that
Doctor Strange is Marvel, right?
Yeah. But he was all like, I don't want to do these movies. I'm done. I don't want to be Iron Man anymore. And then it's like, oh, hey, do you want $80 million? Yeah. Yeah. I'll do that.
I could do Aluminum Man. Go ahead, whatever you want.
Yeah.
Oh, man. I keep forgetting, don't get away from the mic.
I would sell out real fast if I was an actor.
Yeah. Oh, I am sure you would. That's what always worried me. I never know from day to day am I going to have the show because someone could have come in and gone like, hey, man, I got 3 sponsors.
Well, I know everyone's worth, so make sure you have high value.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, that's how that's how I deal with everybody.
And make sure you call you on Sunday night.
Yeah, make sure to call me every day and text me every day.
That you think that means that I think so highly of myself, but I just want to stay in touch with you and
No, I'm not worried about it.
Make sure you're okay. And all. But aren't you excited? This is like second day in a row, and we're having a show.
Yeah.
It's. I told you I was ready to come back.
Yeah.
And did I misunderstand you when you said, "Okay, so you're going to be back? You're ready to be back Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday?" And I said, "Yes." And you said, "Okay, so I can start booking people on your show?"
I've been
and
asking.
I said, "Yes."
I've been asking.
Nobody wants to come on the show? Have I done something wrong?
No. You just have your time
Slot
is not like, and not everyone can be here at 2:00 in the afternoon in the middle of the week.
So I need to go to recording?
Well, you need to hang out with people who are like you, who are just wandering around Kroger, and then get them to be on your show.
Asking guys that walk down the aisle, could you reach this for me? I'm still doing that.
Yeah, one of my friends was giving me a hard time about seeing Deadpool at 10 a.m. And I was like, what? So, I'm sorry I took time out of my day because I really wanted to see this movie, and I didn't want to see it at night.
You didn't? No, because it'd be too crowded.
I just don't want to deal with it. I just want to get in. That's what I loved. Like, I literally walked in. I didn't have to talk to one person. Like, I'm sitting in my seat. I'm good to go.
And Cindy comes up the stairs and falls down and
you kept going back to the candy place. Like, you want this? You want like, no, I don't want anything. We're good.
Let's go sit down and watch the show. No, I was gonna say you would hate my mom. You'd love my mom, but my mom was the kind that we would go see a mystery, any kind of mystery show, detective mystery show. She would always lean over and go, "You know which guy did it? It's that guy." Well, don't tell me that. I don't do that. And then she was terrible about that. She was always right. She would pick it out before anything she knew. And
well, I mean, talking to her in movies,
what?
Like zero talking, zero phone use. Like, there's no. Why are you going to a theater if you're on your phone or talking to somebody?
Well, I mean, if you're talking about the show or making fun of the show, I mean.
No,
Sam and I've gone.
That's rude. Like, no matter what scenario you want to say, like, unless it's like a sing-along Disney movie, yeah, I get it. You can speak all you want. You can sing all you want because it's called sing-along. Like, there's other people in the room. That's why I love you ever been to the theater where people are sleeping?
When what?
When people fall asleep?
Yeah.
Like, I've been to several movies like that where someone straight up falls asleep and is snoring.
And starts snoring.
Oh yeah, and I'm like, how do you put yourself in this position, man? Like, you're going to a movie.
It was a bad movie. It was.
No, he probably just hates his wife or something. He's like, I don't want to be home. I'm gonna go over here and sleep.
There were
watching RoboCop.
Two teenagers were sitting in front of Sam and I, and they started talking. They were on their phone. They were talking and stuff, and he leaned down, but he put his head down to him and said, "I just want to tell y'all something. Before we get out of this show, you're going to owe me $25, both of you, because I can't hear the movie, and I'm sick of listening to y'all. So just think about that before you get up." And they leaned back, and they didn't move. They just looked at each other. Like, you could see they were side-eyeing each other. Like, is he serious? Is he going to?
No, that's why I demanded you to turn off your phone, because I know you in that phone. Because that phone will, I thought I turned it off. Oh, I thought this was. Oh, now they're calling. I have to go take care of this, but I don't know how to unlock my phone. Oh, this thing is so bright, and I'm like, I know this would happen, so give me that phone, and I turned it off. I'm like, you're watching this movie,
You're 12 years old. Okay, Dad, here.
No, I just know. You're not the only one that's like that with their phone. I still don't get that people with their phone.
When it goes off. Well, I mean, you forget. You forget about it sometimes. It's okay. Yeah, thank you. And I'm trying to get it back on again was fun. But you did that. You were very sweet. You were so sweet, so gentlemanly. He opened the door and all that. He just didn't come over when I fell down the stairs to do anything, but that's okay. But
That's because I didn't know it was you.
oh,
Because I don't know why you're all the way over there.
why would I know to come over on that side?
Because I told you the seats are going to be on the right side of the theater.
Okay, if I'm
Because
standing
you were
looking at the
you were
theater,
with me when we picked the seats.
yeah. Okay, but listen,
You were with.
but listen, if I'm standing looking at the audience and the chairs, then this is the right side of the theater.
That's where you should have gone. What's facing the screen. But anyway, you cursed. You fell. It was hilarious.
I did not
I
curse.
loved it.
I did not curse. Oh, I did not curse. He thought I said the S word.
But you
But so-
definitely buy too much when you go to the theater. Like your hands were just filled with stuff, and I'm
Yeah.
like, what are you doing?
And I know it was bad is because of the railing. So I usually like to hold onto the railing.
Yeah.
And I had to just lean my arm and go up the railing. But I still think you kicked over my salt.
Okay, I don't care. Why would you put salt on the floor?
Well, because I had they didn't have any more holes.
What do you think is going to happen when you put cups on the
drinks.
floor and no one knows that's there? And people get up to use the restroom all the time in movies.
Yes, but I like the
And it's
chair.
dark.
I like the chair that I had because it's just enough of the stairs
Yeah.
that you can put things on it, and so I could put my purse on it. I
And
could
then
put a
someone
drink
trips
on
over
it.
it while they're trying to go down the stairs.
No, they can't. I mean, the
Yeah.
bars are there, so it's a perfect place to sit. It's I love that.
Ridiculous.
Okay, so anyway,
So what has Kamala said recently that you gotten upset
how
about?
did you know? That's
I just know. I mean,
exactly what I didn't even go. You just knew. It's after so many years. You know me.
Well, there's some things that are going on in that stuff in this race because I feel like this presidential race is so already out of hand that nothing surprises me. And when they were having those white girls for, if that's a real thing, when I saw
No,
that,
it was white men for Kamala.
there was one for like white women too.
White girls for Kamala.
And
So silly.
I think that's really funny to me because what would they have done if like a person of color joined the Zoom call?
Well,
What would happen?
Cindy came up to me and said, "Why are white women saying that they're for a white woman? That's weird." I said, "Well, she's not white. She's black and Jamaican."
I thought she was Indian.
I think it is Indian. Look and see what her.
But again, it's funny
ancestry.
that like that's what it's labeled as.
Yeah.
And it's like,
That's weird.
because one thing I love is the internet is full of creative trolls. And so I was like, when someone would post that, I was like, how did someone not mess with that? Like, that is the easiest thing to mess with. And I was very disappointed. No one messed with, like, especially the Zoom call. Because remember when Zoom was going around, people were like finding out they would type in the 25-digit number
Yeah.
and join random rooms because they weren't protected. And they'd be like schools or whatever.
Oh, that's right.
And they would just like,
that's right.
but yeah, I don't,
Because I always.
because that to me is hilarious, especially when you have to think about them telling their friends, like, "Oh, what'd you do today?" Like, "Oh, I got on a Zoom call today to support Kamala Harris." Or did I say her name right?
What?
Yeah, whatever. And like, "Oh, cool. What was it like? What was it? Oh, it's just white women." It was just white women. That's what I mean. That's wild to me.
Well, she advertised for that. If you're white and
No, I know.
You wanna-
That's what I'm saying. And I was like,
how do you advertise for that and not get in trouble? Like if I was,
well, it's not about being in trouble. It's about, hey, maybe think about telling people about this because it sounds idiotic.
well, and racist, extremely racist.
Nah,
For,
that's debatable. But it's still like I would waste my time. I feel like I'd be wasting my time. Like, what do you gain from that?
that, I hope she doesn't get votes, but
Well, I mean, they're raising money. I don't care about that. But it's just funny to me. It's
$200 million.
I like it.
$200 million.
Yeah, India. Her mother was from India.
And her father? She didn't talk about him
Jamaica.
much. Who?
Jamaica.
Jamaica. Okay. Well, how does that make you black?
I don't want to get into the details of
Okay,
how that works.
Is that above your
They
pay
went to
grade?
23andMe.
What?
They went to 23andMe.
No, I didn't understand how.
George Carlin has a great bit. I think it was like, I think it might have been the correspondent dinner. You know, they always have a comedian. And you can look up the video, type in like George Carlin, what he thinks of African Americans. Because he gives this whole political thing about like, what's this American thing we're talking about here? He does a good one about Native Americans too. But
I love George
that's
Carlin.
how I kind of think about it.
When he did that bit on your stuff, where you put your stuff and how you get your stuff and what do you do with it? It was so, everything he was saying was like spot on, because I thought, how do you know this stuff? Because he's right about everything he said. It's like do you remember the guy that would cut the watermelon in half? And
Gallagher,
yeah. Do you remember him?
Yeah.
So he said, well, we finally got our baby, and so I'm now a dad, and this is what our house looks like. And he keeps going off stage. He brings the balls and he throws it on the floor, and then he gets up and throws it on the floor. And I went, oh, that is so true. It was just, and people were just dying. They were laughing so hard. So I love comedians like that tell the truth about stuff. And
yeah. Well, it's also, you have to take a step back. That's what I was trying to say, like that white girls or white women for Harris. It's like, let's take a step back here, guys. What's going on?
But I didn't know that they did the women. You're right. I just heard about the white men for Kamala. I thought that was really weird. And she's making everybody say weird when they talk about Trump and his vice president.
I like it.
They say, use the word weird as many times as you can. Tell people.
I wish I was kind of like in those boardrooms talking about strategies. Like, what do we need to get Donald Trump like agitated? What do we need to do?
To have all the women that
Call
said
him weird.
He did stuff.
Call him weird.
Sit on the front row.
Yeah.
Do you remember when he did that? He brought. Was it?
I think it was Bill Clinton and Hillary Clinton.
Yeah, and they were going to have all the women that said that he had messed with them sit there. That was good. I mean, that was a good idea.
You can get pretty creative with that stuff, though, because politics is a dirty game. Especially where I live now, it's like you have no idea if it's actually an official source. Mm-hmm. It's like this could be some dude on the internet just.
But
especially like the shooter kid. Like now, it's been almost like 2 weeks, and it's like every day now for the past like 5 days, we found reports that he was online on a forum, saying this, and then it's like, oh, it actually wasn't him. That was.
But listen, they just got
like no one knows. And it's like anyone could be anyone on the internet. It's kind of like, especially like on Twitter, like if you were early enough, you could have created a Kamala Harris handle.
Yeah, you're right.
And they have no idea.
Do you know that they have a new video out that someone took? It's scary because they're following him climbing up on there and running. And here comes Trump had just come on the stage, and he's running, and he bends down, he gets the gun, and he starts to stand up like that, and he starts shooting, and they run. They take their camera. You can tell that they're running, but it's amazing footage. I mean, it's so much better than anything except for JFK. The video they had for that.
You thought that footage was amazing?
It was amazing that we captured that someone captured that. Did they know he was going to get hit there?
What's weird about that, because there's a story about the guy who had the Zapruder?
Yes.
Zapruder?
Yes.
I think that was the guy's last name. And like how that footage came along, because it's like, I mean, can you imagine being this guy? Like, oh, I have the day off. I'm going to go to this park, and the president's going to drive by. I got my camera. I'm so proud of my camera.
Yeah.
And I'm like, dude, just doing my camera. And then boom. And you're like, oh.
What did I just see?
Yeah. And you're like, because I was looking through my camera.
Yeah.
And then, of course, the chaos that happened after that.
Right.
And do you think that guy kind of like just quietly just kind of like put the camera down? And he goes, I guess I'm going to go home now. And because they didn't have that footage for, I don't know how long. I think it was like over a year.
He was scared. He was scared
to
even show it. And you
But can you imagine going home and like
Yeah.
developing that stuff and be like, we could like, hey honey, you want to see something crazy? What? This guy got shot in the face.
It blew the back of his,
Yeah.
and it wasn't much longer. The press had some pictures of them in the morgue, and that was very disturbing. I opened opened it like that, and there's.
But you got this guy sitting on this footage, it's kind of like, because this is before CCTVs or whatever, and
well, because I wondered why this footage of him going. I mean, you could see everything that he's doing.
Yeah.
It's a little blurry because it's pretty far off, but still, that that's what he's done. That's what they're showing, and I think.
And I know half the people at that rally were tailgating for like 10 hours beforehand, so everyone was drunk or something.
Well, everyone had a camera, so you're so wondering why there's not any more.
There probably is, but the tech people are really good at shutting things up. Imagine, do you remember when that crazy dude in New Zealand came from Australia, went to New Zealand, and shot up a bunch of the churches? So like, I think mosques. I think they were mosques. But he live streamed the whole thing. Like he turned on his camera like right when he got into onto the island.
Did you see it?
And then he live streamed it. People were watching him loading the weapons, putting it in the trunk and all that stuff, and him driving, and then him getting out and getting the gun and started just shooting people. But then if it was terrible, right? But then I noticed social media erased that from the planet. Like you couldn't find that video after the first after 2 hours after it happened, anywhere.
That's really surprising. I mean, now when people are complaining about
he was the one doing it. He was the one live streaming it.
Yeah. But people are so complaining about when they go to Trump assassination, it only comes up like Truman, JFK. There's no Trump assassination.
Well, maybe he wasn't trying to assassinate him. You don't
attempted.
know.
It says attempted.
Yeah.
Like
you don't know. Maybe
Reagan.
He wasn't. Maybe he was trying to save his life. Maybe there was a demon behind him, and he was the only one that could see them.
Did you see his picture?
I mean, maybe he saw a lot of demons.
He had a lot of demons, but they're so mad, and then Google apologized for it.
Oh, they removed the picture.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they
again, they have the power to do that. So I don't believe anything I read on the internet. I just look for stuff that's funny.
Well, they were so afraid that was going to be too it was too graphic. They thought it was just too graphic, and then. But him holding his fist up and the flag behind him, they removed the flag and they removed this. It's just him with a fist. So it was like they had to admit that that's what they did. Why would you?
I like it.
I mean, why would you be?
Why would you apologize for it?
No, why would you be surprised that you were caught? I mean,
yeah, I wouldn't apologize. I'd be like, yeah.
I did it. You don't like it? Don't look.
Yeah, don't use Google.
No, it's so mean. I don't know why they hate Trump so much.
I would. He's pretty annoying.
He what?
Pretty annoying.
Okay.
Let's
have 4 years of her laugh. That'll be good.
I don't really care. The president doesn't matter.
The president doesn't matter?
Yeah, it doesn't matter. It's all about the banks.
But she's going to, they all think she's going to get Shapiro, this governor, for her VP.
Cool.
It's a white guy.
So exciting.
It's a white guy.
Again, who cares?
And he's Jewish. So she's been railing about the Jewish, the war, and feeling like this is, you've got to save the Palestinians. And so it just is going to be so interesting. So many good things going on.
All right, we'll see you Tuesday.
Okay, all right. It was great being here. Thank you for letting me come on. Thank you guys for watching. And, of course, Chris Wootton, we thank you. Chris, the Wootton Financial Group. Call him. If you're thinking about retiring, call him. Okay, he's great. He's a wonderful man. All right. And first responders, we love you.
Every week, people ask the same two questions. Are they ready to retire? Will their savings last for their lifetimes? Hi, this is Chris Wootton with Wootton Financial Group. Our firm has been in Montgomery County for decades, but the hopes and dreams of the people we serve never change. We help answer these two questions and many more that people have about their uncertain financial future. We have a simple introductory client experience that allows us to get to know the client and includes a few meetings for the client to kick the tires at no charge. We provide a concise, one-page summary that helps the client get a better handle on which questions are the right questions for them. To learn more about Wootton Financial Group's process in helping their clients to a clearer financial future and to see their contact information, visit Cindy Cochran's show page on irlonestar.com/TCCS. Wootton Financial Group is a proud sponsor of the Cindy Cochran Show. Wootton Financial Group is available by phone at 936-449-5952 or visit them on the web at www.woottonfinancial.com. That's www.woottonfinancial.com.
This program is sponsored by the Wootton Financial Group. It is not the intent of Wootton Financial Group to render or offer personalized investment advice or financial planning advice through this radio program or any related website. Wootton Financial Group's participation in this program is limited to providing general information on financial matters and should not be construed as financial recommendation or investment advice. Investment advisory services are offered through Game Plan Advisors, Inc., a registered investment advisor registered with the Securities and Exchange Commission and the state of Texas. Insurance services are offered through Wootton Financial Group, Inc. Game Plan Advisors and Wootton Financial Group, Inc. are affiliated through common ownership, and neither firm is affiliated with The Cindy Cochran Show. No listener should assume that any information presented and or made available on this program serves as the receipt of or a substitute for personalized individual advice from Game Plan Advisors, Wootton Financial Group, or any of their representatives.
Did you know that there are over 153 million orphans in the world today? The sad reality is 99% of those kids will likely never be adopted. Core Love is an organization right here